This is where it all took place, the biggest gathering of the legendary hole in Monaro ever seen in Australia. Monaro's in the Millennium followed the incredible success of Holden Monaro's 30th anniversary event held in 1998 at one of Australia's leading car show venues, the Wangaratta Airworld Complex. The Monaro Club of Victoria put on a fantastic show, with loyal Monaro drivers coming together for what proved to be Australia's inaugural national gathering of this classic Australian motoring icon.
It's all about fun. It's all about enjoying what you drive and having people of a like mind who can share your appreciation. Because, like I said, you don't see Monaros much on the streets anymore. Most of these cars are in garages or tucked away. They come out on a good day for a special occasion. This is a special occasion, and they're here. And so I think just to get this in your memory banks on video, whatever, or your film, or whatever it is what they'll get out of this. They've done it, they were here, they had a go, they were part of it, and mate, yeah, it was red hot.
Monaro's in the Millennium proved to be equally successful, with 242 Monaros and over 12,000 spectators enjoying the 4-day event. The range of models, colours, trims, engines and transmission captured the imagination of all participants and spectators. The Holden Monaro was launched as part of the HK range in 1968 and remained popular until the end of the HZ range in 1980.
From out of the dawn and into your life comes Holden's Monaro, Australia's first sports machine.
As times were changing, the Monaro came along. It was what Australian drivers were waiting for, and it fitted into the Australian culture perfectly.
27 cubic inch, 250 horsepower, 4-barrel Carby V8 engine. And just watch that Monaro move as you pour on the power. This Holden Monaro really loves the road. Feel the way it corners. Just watch the way it hugs the curves. Sure-footed, safe, on line every inch of the way. Look at the way it takes off. It's a beautiful feeling. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Monaro. When you see your Monaro for the first time, you notice the racy, swept-down styling of the rear deck, and so will others. With plenty of window for wide, safe vision. Plenty of window to see and be seen. Now take a look at the side. No central pillar to spoil the line. Both front and back windows wind down to give your Monaro and you the true sporting look. And that wide, wide door invites you to get in and go. Monaro by Holden. Some car, because as well as its sporty looks, inside Monaro there's room enough for 5 full-size car-loving people. Yet Monaro's as personal as you could wish. Reclining buckets. Wood grain wheel, full instrumentation, floor console shift. Monaro GTS models come equipped with heavy-duty, rally-tuned suspension and D70 wide ovals on extra-wide rally wheels. A limited slip differential is part of the package. Three Monaros make the range. Monaro, Monaro GTS, and Monaro GTS 327. 3 models, 5 power plants. Your choice, up to 250 horsepower. Now's the time for you to go Monaro, the hottest brand going.
There's a whisper on the wind, Monaro. There's a thunder down the street, Monaro. There's a full-loaded door, there are 4 on the floor, and life is suddenly very Monaro. It's very Monaro this year.
Monaro by Holden, Australia's first sports machine. The racy looks of a high-priced Continental rally car, but no fancy foreign price tag. 3 models, Monaro, Monaro GTS, or GTS 327. Out to drive you wild. Wide road-hugging track, super-tuned suspension, engines right up to a 250 horsepower V8, console, floor shift, manual or automatic, tachometer, and safety features all around you.
Monaro, it's going to be very Monaro this year.
Make him show you.
Now that you've decided you want to buy a sports machine, we'd like to show you what GTS Monaro is all about. This is Monaro GTS 4-door, a true sports sedan with the convenience of 4 doors. And this is Monaro GTS 2-door sports coupe, a more personal kind of sports car with a very distinctive coupe styling. Monaro is enjoying driving all over again. Of course, you've already seen the inside, but we'd like to give you a closer look and some demonstrations. Look, full foam, hip-hugging seats that support and hold you here and here. There's new built-in head restraints for extra safety. And with black trim, you get this red accent stripe. And the bucket seats quickly and easily lay back, like this. This is the control cockpit of Monaro. Sports steering wheel, polished anti-glare black chrome dash that holds the instruments and controls, nicely set off with the look of Allen head screws for each panel. New kilometer calibrated speedometer, clearly marked tachometer with ammeter, oil pressure, temperature and fuel gauges, and an electric clock. All controls are within easy reach of the driver. Monaro has improved flow-through fresh air ventilation with four-way swiveling vanes. It now incorporates a fan-boosted power ventilation system. You can have fresh air at slower speeds or even when you're stationary. A sports sedan.
For all who experienced that era, the Holden Monaro had an effect on them in some way, and many would recall the hip and exciting television ads of the time, promoting this stunning vehicle as out to drive you wild. The Monaro was Australia's first locally manufactured coupe. It captured the imagination of the Australian motorist. With its modern and unique styling and image, partnered with brute power and success on the racetrack, the Holden Monaro was a winner. This marketing success story subsequently won Holden a legion of new fans, many who continue the passion to this day. Monaros in the Millennium proved that. Holden's Monaro Legends were a major feature of the event, helping to recapture and relive that original passion of the 1970s.
Panorama, Bathurst, 9 a.m. and the roar of exhaust as 60 starters get away in the most grueling event on the motor racing calendar, the Hardy Ferodo 500. Through Forest Elbow and Des West's Holden Monaro quickly takes the lead from the Holdens of McPhee, Muir and Hawkins. Then come the Falcons of Gagan and Gibson. End of lap 1, and at Murray's Corner the placings are the same. Lap time just over 3 minutes unchanged, and the pace is a cracker. But how long can it last? Are still out on their own. Behind West and McPhee, Brian Muir and Paul Hawkins are running third and fourth, then Gagan and Gibson. Leading the field, Des West is driving lightly and easily, conserving himself for the hours ahead.
The Holden Monaro, a vintage car? That's right, Holden's HG Monaro is turning 30 and subsequently is officially considered a vintage car. While this may make a few of you feel a tad old, just remember that you shared in what was Australian motoring history, the creation of the Monaro. Loyal Monaro drivers travel from all states of Australia to experience Monaros in the Millennium, cutting an impressive sight as they converged on the streets of Wangaratta. They came to see the cream of the nation's historical, original, restored and modified Monaros.
Miles and miles of Monaro miles. That should name highways after us. And here is another example of just how far people come from. Sorry, we'll introduce you. Who you are?
I'm Leanne Cook.
Leanne Cook. And you're here by yourself, are you, Leanne?
No, I'm here with my partner, Bill.
Fantastic. And you are from?
We are from Cannington, Perth, WA.
Western Australia, so you came across the Nullarbor with your baby?
Yes, we certainly did, certainly a long stretch.
How long did it take you?
We took about 4 days, trying to take it easy. Some days we were up at 3 o'clock in the morning, we couldn't sleep due to the excitement, I think.
It's been a big build-up for you both, for this to come across here?
It has been, the car started sort of 6 years ago. We bought it for $600 from an Aboriginal family. It was very rusty and quite run down, as you can well imagine, for $600.
Fair enough, yes.
Probably in the last 8 months we've really sort of got going on it once we made the decision to come over. So
coming to the event helped you do the car as to what it is now?
They've certainly got the enthusiasm and the motivation going for it, yes.
So
definitely.
we can see the bull bar on the front. What else have you done to it?
Well, that's the pestilence protection control. We fitted the HX front end as well as HX dash and wiring, Toyota Supra seats, WB rear seats and steering wheel.
So it's got a complete different interior as well.
Yeah, it's also been retrimmed in complete WB Caprice material, so which makes just a bit different from the original HQ material. Excuse the dirt on the floor.
So again, the people have been putting their personal touch into these cars. Why did you decide on this? For comfort factor or for ease factor, or?
Well, comfort factor, and plus I retrimmed the interior myself, so I liked the material. It was easy to sew with. Vinyls can be a bit hard to sew with.
So you've done a majority of the work yourself?
We've done everything on this car ourselves, except for the widening of the rims, which we paid for. We're not quite that good. All the rust repair, the panel conversion, the panel and paint has been done by my partner Bill, including the Pearl GDS graphics or the GDS paint outs, which are very subtle and a bit hard to see.
So not only has it been a labour of love restoring the car, but getting here from Western Australia, terrific.
Yeah, well worth the effort. We found that everybody here so far is so friendly. First time here and would love to come back for sure. Been a lot of fun.
Part of the show is actually seeing the cars on display here, and some are a bit more special than others. Obviously this fine example owned by this gentleman here. If I can introduce you to the crowd.
Yeah, Brian McClelland, yes.
Brian, tell us about your car and yourself. Where have you come from?
Right, I was born in Frankston, and strangely enough this particular Monaro was delivered from the Holden dealer Bayside Motors in Frankston in 1968.
Okay.
Sadly though, at that time I was working for the Ford dealer, and of course these were from a different camp.
Working on the dark side, mate. But
yes.
We'll work later.
Right.
And can you tell us about the car? What was it like? How long have you had it?
Yeah, right. I've owned it.
What condition was it in?
Right, I've owned it for about 5 years. The previous owner was aged 41 and he passed away. That was in 1995. He'd owned it for 20 years and had stored it in a garage for most of that time. The rego label on the windscreen indicates the last date of registration, which was 1978. And in that particular time, the car was registered as a two-door sedan, not a coupe. And the car has only been re-registered with its original number plate, KCX 012, once again.
So that was in this condition when you got it, or have you is this a rebuild or full restoration?
My son is a painter, and my other son here is the mechanical man, and we decided that we ought to take it back to bare metal and do the whole job properly.
So it's had the full restoration?
It has.
And
took
how long?
We have photos of the car in bare metal, and delightedly no rust, even in the side quarter panels, doors and fenders and that.
That's going pretty well considering the car was lived most of its life in Frankston down on the beach.
Correct, but it was at least under a cover in a garage, and that was its main tribute to the point that it's so, you know.
And just to wrap it, to drive it is like...
Fantastic, fantastic.
Terrific.
It is so flexible and so smooth. There's something special about them, and I guess I've caught up in that in the last, certainly, few weeks when it's been on the road.
All right, with so many good cars and so much time, I'm not going to be able to see them all, but look, we found an absolute classic, an HT in black. Fantastic. The owner is?
Joe Micallef.
Joe Micallef. And where are you from? Obviously Sydney?
Yeah, Sydney Monaro Car Club.
Good trip down, was it, Joe?
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah,
and are there many of you coming down from Sydney?
Yeah, fair few, coming down.
Enough of the small talk. Please tell us about your car.
Well, this is it. It's HT, of course, HT. It's factory ordered black. Warrigal black with the gold stripes. White with the houndstooth interior. As you can see, it's pretty much well factory.
And you've had it very long, have you?
Yeah, I've had it about 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
And how many owners has it had, do you know?
I'm third owner. And
third
I knew the second owner, of course, that I bought it off.
Yes.
And he knew the first owner, so
And it's low
sort of been
mile.
handed down. Yeah, pretty low miles for its age, yeah.
Absolutely terrific. Fantastic cars. Just another example of what we've got and what we're going to drag. Fantastic. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, no worries, eh?
A good representation of cars, obviously, of all makes and models, T's, K's. And what about this? The Z, the HZs? The owner is
John Francis and
Lynn Francis.
And you've come from Sydney as well. Good representation of Sydney. How trip down was good?
it was terrific, mate. The highway was great and the car went well and we just really enjoyed it. It was good to come down in a group of about 20 or so cars.
Fantastic. And the car itself?
The history?
Yep.
Yeah, we've bought it new. I think we've got, what now, 325,000 Ks on it. Still runs strong and hard. And it's a pleasure to drive. I just love driving it.
And it is a fully optioned HZ 308 auto?
As we bought it off the showroom floor.
All right, and there's a few additives as well. Power glass, aircon.
It has.
And it's been trouble-free motoring.
Very much so. All credit to GMH.
And you've kept the car looking fantastic. The colour scheme's terrific. Is it a lot of work for you both to keep it like this?
More for Lynn than me.
Yeah, I guess I do. A bit of the detailing, wash and polish, but basically it's not a hard car to clean, I wouldn't say. Of course, for shows I do a little bit more of the elbow grease to get it right, but basically it's more fun than it is hard work.
So the investment, you've looked after the investment, and obviously it's looked after you being in such fine shape.
Thank you.
It's easy when you enjoy it.
K's and T's, everywhere you go, K's and T's. And look, here's another fine example. Could you tell us about your car? Sorry, let me introduce yourself first. You are, sorry.
I'm Jim Tilbrook from up in near Mackay, up in Queensland.
From Queensland?
Yeah, a fair way up the coast, halfway between Townsville and Rockhampton.
You've driven this car down from Queensland?
I drove it down.
How long did it take you?
It'd take me, I made an extra little bit of a detour. I went over to Adelaide before I come back to Bendigo and then into Wangaratta. So it's taken me about a 4-day trip all up.
Terrific. And can you tell us a bit about your car? Your HK is here, magnificent. What can you tell us about it?
This is the way that I picked it up like this a few years ago now. I haven't done anything to it. It was in storage before I got it.
So you haven't had it since new?
No, not this one. I've had Monaros now on and off for a few years. I've got 3 of them. One I've had since late 70s, early 80s. I can't remember.
All of this model, are they, Jim? All of...
Two the same as this here. They're both blue, both HKs, and then I've got a HX LE limited edition, and there's also a LJ GTR XU1 under the house.
Terrific. And putting personal touches is important to you on the cars, is it?
This one's, I haven't touched this one at all. I haven't done anything to this since I've bought it.
I only say that because of the number plate you have.
The number plate I've had for about 7.5 years. That's off my other HK, which is now in storage. I've had that in storage for about 5 years. So I put the plate back on this one.
Okay, so the plate will stay on this car?
The plate will stay on this one. I've got my eye on another plate for the next one.
I suppose a lot of people will be after that plate too.
I don't tell them what it is.
Absolutely, and why would you? It's just another touch of a personalisation of a car. Terrific, thanks for your time.
Right, thanks very much.
How many more have you got in HTs or have you got in this model GTS?
Only two, Murray, which is
You've only got two. You've got two and one that's the guy rolled it. Yeah. On the road, but there's only two down here this week. So there's probably only going to be
if you can get your hands on this book, it's a free plug for Warren Terminal. But basically in it is all the information you need to know, like colours, red compliance plates, not only for this model, but up to HZ.
Oh, I love it. I reckon it's colour.
Chris, is everything cool? Chris, is everything cool? Good stuff. Okay, thanks. That'll do, please.
One question I have to ask, is everything cool?
Everything's cool. I'm led to believe everything's cool.
It's not all rubber and buffed machines. The participants kicked off the first evening enjoying the great facilities on offer at the Airworld complex. Taking time to catch up with friends, interstate club members and offer drivers who enjoy a night out almost as much as their beloved Monaros.
You pull it out and put it through this that's where they're Where are you guys from?
Made the same decision that everyone here made. That's the car I want, that's the car I'm going to buy. That's it.
Oh, that big dog gets here, show him what his little dog's done. Well, I'm sitting here wondering if Matchbox stole my clothes.
Great to have you here. I mean that sincerely for myself and I suppose everybody else, but for me sincerely because it's just fantastic to have you here. I mean that's why we've done it, and I personally hope you have a whole heap of fun. That's what it's all about. And and on behalf of our committee too, sorry that you enjoy yourselves. I haven't written a speech, I'm just ad-libbing here, mate, so go with the flow. But anyway, that's all from me. I do hope you enjoy the event and have a good time. That's it, mate. The bar's open, the food's on. We're here till 11 o'clock. The band's coming on shortly. So feel free, mate. Make it happen and party hard.
All you gotta do is stand in one spot. And move around just a little bit. Oh, yeah.
With a standard tyre, that's okay. When you got the big
Especially when you've got a reckless father that just throws everything together and
that's nice.
spanners, dirty spanners and chips it and whatever. But there's a couple of minor things we'll do tomorrow.
You've done a beautiful job with it.
Yeah, a lot of time involved. Should be a good cruise. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great today. Nice weather, perfect.
Yes, this gives the drivers an opportunity to go on a cruise with 150, maybe 200 other Monaros on a long drive. It's probably the only time they'd ever get together with that sort of mass numbers. So yeah, most people are really looking forward to this super cruise. Weather's been really kind to us this weekend. It's looking absolutely beautiful. So blue skies, clear roads, nice and fresh. So it will be a good drive.
It's time to move out and explore the region with the super cruise. But not before showing off to the locals in the main street.
It's great for the town, it's great for the economy of the town. They spend plenty of money, they drink plenty of booze, they eat plenty of tucker.
I'm looking forward to seeing the wide range of beautiful restored Monaros.
We're waiting for the Monaros, just all different range of cars and stuff. It's good.
It's fantastic. Yeah, been actually watching all the different cars going through the street for the last hour. It's really interesting.
Oh, it's great for the local economy and all that sort of stuff.
It is reported that over $1 million was injected into the local economy during the event, with accommodation booked solid. Since the 1998 event, the Wangaratta Airworld Complex has focused on attracting major motoring events such as the Monaros.
Well, it really put Airworld on the map as a host for cars and all of those types of events, and the economic benefit of it is unbelievable, and I think this year it's over $1 million, so it's a great boost to the region.
Located just off the Hume Highway between Melbourne and Sydney, the Wangaratta Airworld Complex is an ideal choice for hosting major motoring events. Excellent support from staff, ample space, catering facilities and the burnout pad are just a few of the attractions. And if you're wondering why it's called Airworld, it's also home to a range of historic aircraft displays and memorabilia.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic to have the Monaros back after being here 3 years ago in '98 when they had their 30th anniversary, and obviously we've been working very closely with the Monaro committee to make sure that we secure this for the Rural City. And we're absolutely excited that they've picked Wangaratta for their second time back, and obviously the Monaros in the Millennium is going to be huge, and we're very excited that we'll be able to showcase the region to these people, and obviously the opportunity to see the landscape, the great wines we have and the fantastic eating areas, and I think it would be great.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Can you imagine a room full of 350 Monaro enthusiasts being quiet, listening to a bunch of people talk for 3 hours? Well, you can believe it. When the speakers are a collection of drivers, designers and engineers who help make the Monaro the icon it is today, and the topic is about their favourite subject, it can happen. And it did at the Holden Dinner with the Legends.
Saying how they used to still have one. I wasn't really... The only thing that I was sort of privy to was that they did yeah, right, okay. 1960. And there wasn't much you can do to stay within the regulations. And we found
was in the Sandown 3-hour race. But Tony came up with another brainwave.
We don't mind this beauty. That's what I was worried about. 3 big hits and a safe pad wear.
Not really. There was a fool's cap sheet of them somewhere.
Endorsed into racing when it comes out. I mean, obviously there's certain rules and regulations that
called me again and wanted to know about. He was having trouble with the front bumper bar with this head.
Someone trying to identify my HT Monaro the other day. So in other words, if we only knew when we raced we were young and stupid.
With those early the audience was captivated with stories of the past that gave unique and rare insight into this amazing era and the future. Head of the current design team at Holden, Mike Simcoe had mouths watering as he revealed details of the new VT Coupe due for release in late 2001. The Monaro's popularity really took off when Bruce McPhee raced an HK 327 Chev-powered GTS Monaro to victory at Bathurst in 1968.
Meanwhile, the consistent McPhee has hit the front, and the battle for line honours is between his Monaro and those of West and Monks, all in the same lap. But the Devil's number doesn't worry McPhee as he sets another new lap record of 2 minutes 56.8, and fastest time 128.5 miles per hour down Conrod Straight. Ron Marks is second, and Phil West third. Coming to the checkered flag, McPhee has broken the race record set last year by the Falcon. His time, 6 hours, 44 minutes, 7.9 seconds. For Bruce McPhee and co-driver Barry Mulholland, an outstanding performance in Australia's toughest car race.
This was followed by another win in 1969 with Colin Bond at the wheel.
Bond, back in third, is closing fast but cautiously as he cuts through the bunched-up smaller cars, a flock of varied marks. The speed differential between the big bangers and the smaller machines is considerable, and care is the order of the moment. 2 hours into the race, and in a brilliant drive, Bond has made up the lap deficit caused by his blowout and regained the lead. A dice that gets the voters the race highlight. In the Holden dealers' team pit, intense activity as Bond comes in. Tony Roberts, his co-driver, will take over to pilot the big GTS into the night. The Holden is changing only 2 tyres each stop, compared with the leading Falcon's 4, and operations are taking only a quarter the time. Gates now becomes the pursued as he makes up ground and takes the lead. But Bond, Roberts and their pit crew are not unduly concerned. They're confident they'll be leading when the flag drops at 10 p.m. And the 12-hour is finished. Victory has gone to the Bond-Roberts Holden GTS 350. Bond and Roberts drive into Victory Lane. And there is the man who made it all possible. Team leader, Harry Firth, the old fox. Holden has won this round and won it well. For the Holden dealers team, it's been a great season in series production racing. First Bathurst, then Warwick Farm and Lakeside, now the Rothmans International 12-hour race. A winning team, Bond, Roberts and the Holden GTS 350.
Bruce and Colin shared their impressions of the Monaro.
I got one of the old cars, or the car that Harry had. I don't know where it ever came from. It was a Monaro. It was one of the...
I suppose you could say that that was the introduction to the fire for the Monaro to go to Bathurst and do that distance under those conditions in those days. We're talking 32 years ago. And when I bought that car, it got my backside in it the first day that I had the thing. So I said, hey, this is a winning car.
Particularly on touring cars, they've been around on open wheels before, but not... And then we went to Bathurst, and as Ian said, we were the Holden dealer team. I mean, this is big time now, and there's no transporters there. You know, the boys drove the cars there. And, but it didn't tell you the full story though, because on the way they actually race each other. This is the mechanics in the cars. And all I knew that when I got there, I said, how's mine? They said, beauty.
Bob Jane, who after his driving stint in the US and Britain moved to homegrown Monaro muscle for his driving campaigns, gave a music account of his experience with the Monaro.
Then I bought a HQ LS Monaro, a beautiful car, coupe. It was orange with a vinyl roof, 350, air conditioning, and I was driving up to Yarrawonga where I enjoy holidays over the years, and I was sitting on 125 miles an hour. Now, a lot of people think that's rubbish because, you know, you can't do that, but in those days there was no speed limit. And my eldest son, Rodney, is currently 28, and he was just born. He was in a bassinet, and his sister was sitting up in one of those child seats. She was a couple of years older. And we turned off at Benalla after Benalla in the old days to go to Yarrawonga, and I got halfway to Yarrawonga and I had this feeling that I was being followed. And I looked around and there was a police car beside me. And you know, it's a night of 28 degrees, a very hot night. And I've got the windows up, the air conditioning working, and we were all very comfortable. Robert was asleep. And this policeman is having a fit beside me because I look left, right, and his face is bright red, and he's shaking his fist at me, so I pull over, and I left the engine running to keep the air going, and he was actually having, I thought, a stroke. He was frothing at the mouth. He said, "You've been doing 130, 140 miles an hour," and I said, "Oh, don't think so." "So what?" He said, "Well, you must have gone through Benalla over 100. I said, "Don't be stupid. I went through there at 30. This is miles per hour." Anyway, he charged me with dangerous driving, and I said, anyway, was yelling and screaming, and I said, "Look, do me a favour, don't yell. You wake up my son, the baby, he's asleep." So he looks in the car, and he's had his biggest police chase in his whole life, and he's a child asleep in the car, another little one waving at him. Think about it, and I do occasionally think about when I'm driving up this way, that you could sit on 130 miles per hour, which is over 200 clicks, on the old highway, not on the new freeway. So that was, I wish I had that Monaro, ladies and gentlemen. That was a beautiful looking car, and what a wonderful car to be a passenger in or a driver of.
Gary Rogers, famed owner of the current Valvoline team and former Monaro racer, talked about the changes in racing over the decades.
I'm sure if you put Bob Jane or Bruce or Colin in a car today and took 30 years off their current ages, the results they would be able to achieve with the resources would be the same, if not better, than the drivers we have today.
Ian Tate and Bob Watson, who headed up the Holden race team garage, gave a behind-the-scenes account of the design and development of the Monaro.
During the testing, Harry and the drivers found out that if you come into the corner hard,
and we knew the car was a winner. We were testing it back to back with the Falcon.
American Leo Pruner, head of design staff at Holden during the Monaro era, gave an insight into the inside operations of GM during those times.
Waiting on some damn decision, and here's all these guys sitting at this long table.
Mike Simcoe, the man behind the latest two-door foray, the VT Coupe, then moved us into the new millennium. Mike left us all with a question hanging: what will it be called? The Monaro?
Now let's get back to the name. You said Monaro is one of them.
target right here, yeah.
What are the others? Rattle off something.
I heard a good one the other day. It was Injector or something. But no, there's realistically there is no name yet, and marketing got a list of names that they're looking through. In fact, they've gone out to the public.
You know how it goes. You work in the styling department there and you manage it. If it needs a name, you have to design the bloody badge. So just put Monaro on there and hang it on the car, and it'll all go right.
It's almost as simple as that, yeah.
Everything has gone fantastic so far, but today is the day we'll be judged on. It's where the public meet the entrance. So far it's largely been the entrance with only a small percentage of the public. Now I don't have anything else more except what I'd like you to be able to do is take one of those raffle tickets.
Marshals, I've got a drawing over here with every car bay out there, every vehicle, and I've got the sheets and I'll run through it.
Anything you need, and brief those people who are helping you out in exactly the same way. Okay, that's what we've got to try and achieve. We want people to come here and enjoy this.
Marshals. If I have 20 marshals this morning between 7 and 9, there will be no stuff. Been running that section virtually. I can operate the table with Tony
That now needs to shift. Can't lose anything, but it needs to shift. So move on. It's the big day. The day that all Monaros are looking their best and on show to over 5,000 members of the public. Everything must be just perfect.
Getting ready for the big day of the show and show?
Yeah, just trying to thaw out actually. I don't normally do this, but because it's so cold, I thought if I do some exercising, I might warm up a bit. I'm getting some feeling back into my fingers.
Ice cream cake, milk bar.
Sunday, May 7th, Winter Motor Raceway.
Get a whole lot more.
For the serious contender, a series of strict guidelines needed to be met to qualify for each class. Scrutinising with a critical eye was Judge Warren Turnbull, who first became involved in Monaros when he was 19.
This engine and a complete car has been restored back to the way it was in 1968. This would have taken the owner many, many hours to do, because a lot of the things that are on this engine are now becoming very hard to find, because during the last 30 years, most of those parts on not just the engine compartment but the rest of the car have been thrown away. The amount or the availability of these parts is extremely difficult, and the people that are doing this are going to a lot of trouble now, and in a few years' time you're going to find that this, although it's an extremely high standard here today, in a few years' time this may not even get a look in. Well, the quality of the cars is improving in a number of ways. Many years ago, most Monaros were radically customised, and therefore to say that they're an improvement if they're restored is not really correct. There's a lot more restored cars, so the range of the Monaro owner is now changing away from, oh look, there goes a Monaro, it's been radically improved and is going to go and do a burnout on your front lawn, to, geez, that's a nice car just cruising down the street and going out to really show what it's about. So the quality of the restored cars over the last 3 or 4 years has really increased as we move away from the radically customised. I'm not saying that those people are terrible people though, please.
Yellow one for the next play.
Buy heap of pies, stick them in the freezer, and come Saturday I'll pull them out, heat them up in the oven, crack a titty in front of the telly. Happy hour and that price at Beverly and
Let's jump in it, go for a drive up the access road and we'll, I'll show you.
Tell us a bit about your car.
Well, I bring her here for the car birthday because next month the 8th June is 30 years old. And that's the only one I own. I bought a brand new.
Hold me to all my judging.
No.
What category is it?
350. HT.
...1970 model coupe, as you can see. Just bought a $500 rolling heap of shit
and just sort of stripped everything down, sandblasted it, just started rebuilding the whole car. So, you know, that's how I wanted it, something that I can start from scratch instead of spending money on buying something that was worth, you know, a few $1,000s and stripping it and doing what I was doing anyway. So this is probably the best way of doing it. Yeah.
And how long is it taking you to get to this point?
2 years, virtually 2 years on a day to finish it off to get it registered.
Looking forward to the Super Cruise today?
Oh, definitely, yes.
And where have you come from?
I've come from Adelaide. Came across yesterday. Yep.
Okay, and why? Why have you come to share with the other Monaro people?
Because I just love Monaros, particularly the HQ series. I think it was a beautifully designed car. Cosmetic from front to back. I just really love it.
Yes, we left about 7 o'clock yesterday morning from Waikerie in the Riverland. Took us about 10 hours to get here. We come in about 6:30 last night. And lucky my sister lives here, so we're staying with her for the weekend.
Okay, and you're looking forward to the Super Cruise?
Yeah, it's going to be great today. Nice weather, perfect.
And the event's obviously about cars of all different types and standards of sort of old or restored and what have you.
Yes.
Does that appeal to you?
I like more original car. Like, it's got to be kept original. I don't like these cars that are done up and people modify the motors and diffs and stuff. I like to see original cars on the road. So I'm lucky with this one. It's all original, never been touched since new.
Just to be part of the event, just sort of be with all the other cars and just have a common interest, I guess.
Yes, we admit the Monaro has been affectionately dubbed as being a hoon's car. But let's face it, every hot-blooded, hip dude of the late 60s and 70s wanted to cruise around in this, the coolest car in Australia's motoring history. And they still do. Let's not forget that the GTS V8 Monaro was the most expensive car in the Holden range, so more often than not, owning a Monaro was a dream experienced from afar. Today, these machines remain loved, cared for and preserved by Monaro lovers throughout the country. Its popularity remains, with many young guys and girls joining the Monaro ranks in what has become a time-honoured tradition.
Add all the chrome and the pizzazz of it all, the colours. You don't get colours like this anymore, bright colours.
Despite what many people think, burnouts require plenty of driver skill, keeping the car constantly moving from start to finish. Pure grunt and horsepower is equally a key ingredient.
He knows how to do them too. Yeah.
Power steering, what more? What can you do? Of all things, bloody power steering.
What do I do, mate? Do I push it? Yeah, we push it. Forest was left in the car park in front of our world next to a car. And he's no longer there. And we're freebie.
No charge. I don't want it for that, actually. Come on, man. Hey, my experience, a bit of heavy steering.
pushing it, mate. She'll drive out.
What's he going to do?
Drive it.
Give the man a hand!
Winners and losers, young and not so young, they all came to see the magic of the Monaro.
Because there's so many to give away, what we're going to ask is that when I call out all the names for the class, that particular class, if those people can come up, and then we hold our applause until they've all been presented. We're going to start with the competition show class, and the HK, there is one person in this, Geordie Bridge.
Thanks, mate. There you go, Jeff. No worries at all. Just got a souvenir put in the wall, mate. Thanks very much. Congratulations.
And first place, Darren Brown.
How's your car, by the way? Is your car good?
I think it'll get right.
Yeah.
Think it'll get
Did
over.
they guess it or what?
I'm not sure. We'll know soon.
Congratulations. There you go, mate. Give you one Just up at the Queensland, yeah? Oh, okay. No, we're going to Victoria now. Oh, congratulations. Well done. I know you too. Which one was your score, mate, by the way? Second. Second, you could have that one. Is that you? Yeah. Which one was your score, mate? First? That's the one right there for you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Great. There's like two, mate, huh? Which one you want? Second? G'day, John. How are you, mate? Oh, I've met you too, haven't I? Yeah. Purple one. Purple one? Well, there you go. You don't go empty-handed. Thanks, mate. Well done, boys. Thanks, mate. Well done, buddy. Well done. Thanks. Thanks for coming down. G'day. G'day. How are you? Second place. There you go, mate. Thanks, mate. Something very special for the wall there, mate. That's the one you want, isn't it? Yeah. On you, Jimmy! Jimmy! Good one, Ash, man.
Third place, Giuseppe Rossano. In second place, there's Al. And first place, Robert Wood.
There you go, buddy. Something very special for you. First or second? Second.
That's my husband. He's not even here.
Well, it's yours. I've got to get rid of that spoiler, don't I, Rob? I've got to get rid of that spoiler. Congratulations, mate. Glenn the third. Gotta hold it so we can see it, mate. Hold them so we can see them.
Got Michelle.
Wait up, Rob. Oh, Rob, you have to hold it as well.
Hey, Roger, you need to shave.
Fantastic.
Is that right?
That's Rob Curry. Yeah, mate.
That's right order? Thank you. Okay, everybody looking down the lens.
Oh, hang on. The lead's in front of the...
All yours. You got to finish it now.
Come down from Melbourne, about to go for the cruise. Broke one push rod, bent the other one. The motor was only 430 k's old. Couldn't find any parts here, so backtracking.
'Tis indeed a miracle, one must feel.
Trying to trace some parts. Finally found some new L34 rods, put them in. Really good bloke. Got the car running. Missed out on the cruise, missed out on the show and shine. The officials were nice enough to judge me the following day. And here I am, come to enjoy everyone's trophies and having a good time. Thank you.
That's it, give them the arms around each other. That's it. Okay, big smiles, thank you. Congratulations, man. Hang on, give us a big smile. That's the way, guys. Thank you very much. Give him a kiss. Hang on, give me the award, you've got to see the award too. That's the one.
Give him a kiss.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic.
So,
like I said, when you drove in here, mate, you knocked us
that's
out.
It, that's
you
it. Stay there, hold it. Keep shaking his hand. Shake his hand. That's it. Peter, look at the camera. Look at the camera, big smiles. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, Nora.
Stay there.
Go, Nora.
I don't think that's going to fix it something.
Hang on. Do I get a kiss?
What is it that made this machine so special? The stylish body shape? The stunning range of colour scheme and trims? The powerful motors?
They're a legend. You go back to the Bathurst days when they won a Bathurst back then, and Brocky used to race them, and now they're thinking about bringing a new one out, like a VT Monaro, so that if they bring that out, it'd be great. It's just a muscle car.
The shape, the sound, I love the shape of them. They just look unreal. Nothing looks as good, I don't think, with all the stripes and all that.
When Noel Bedford, the man behind the name Monaro, was asked why the Monaro was special, he replied,
you know, as I said at the end of my talk last night, I just felt that Monaro, the name, was going along for the ride, because I think it's the car, really. It's a bit like, it really doesn't matter what you name a car. If it's a real success, you know, it can be called anything at all, it'll still go off with a bang. And I do believe that that's sort of quite so. It's quite awe-inspiring to see so many cars around still in such good condition.
whatever the reason, the spirit of the Monaro was captured here at Monaros in the Millennium. Needless to say, these events don't just happen. It takes the dedication of a committed team. Thanks goes to the event sponsors, the Monaros and the Millennium Organising Committee, volunteers, Wangaratta and Myrtleford locals, Monaro clubs, support clubs, Holden Limited, Holden Legends, and all the entrants and participants in this great event.